Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we plunge into your source material, really pulling out the most important insights, those surprising facts, and maybe those aha moments you weren't even looking for. Think of it as, well, your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed, tailored just for you. Today, we're embarking on a really fascinating deep dive. We've got excerpts here from MCS Psalm 4. Now, just quickly, MCS stands for Messianic Covenant Studies, and it offers this unique, pretty profound look at finding joy and peace from the Lord, even when things are tough.
Right. And our mission really for this deep dive is to unpack how King David, this is a guy who knew immense pressure, right? Real struggles, how he found and articulated such deep joy and this kind of unshakable peace from God. And, what timeless lessons does that hold for us today? How can his experience maybe shift our own approach to challenges?
Okay, let's unpack this, because there really is so much to explore in just these 8 verses. It's quite packed. So our source, it starts by setting this powerful scene. You've got David, king, warrior, poet, crying out to the Lord while in worship. Even as he's facing profound difficulties, it's noted this was a song for stringed instruments meant to be sung. And that brings us right to Psalm 4, verse 1. For the leader, with stringed instruments, a psalm of David. O God, my vindicator, answer me when I call. When I was distressed, you set me free. Now have mercy on me and hear my prayer.
Yeah, and it was genuinely fascinating, like right off the bat here, is David's immediate instinct. The source highlights that he wrote this during real struggles, but his very first response, cry out to God, which, let's be honest, stands in stark contrast, wouldn't you say, to how we often react.
Absolutely.
We try everything else first, problem solving, maybe complaining, sometimes even despairing, and then okay, now I'll pray. But David, he went there first. He saw God as his vindicator from the get-go, knowing God was righteous in whatever he was allowing.
That's such a powerful distinction. Turning to God first, not last. And the source makes another really important point, too, about being specific.
Right.
It kind of challenges that idea that, you shouldn't really pray for yourself or for your own needs.
Right.
It emphasizes God as our perfect Father, who actually wants his children to ask him for what they want. Specific things like mercy, relief.
Yeah.
Just like David does here. It's not begging. It's more about this intimate relationship.
Exactly. It totally reframes prayer, doesn't it? From maybe a duty to this open, honest, almost childlike conversation with a loving Father. It encourages us to bring our immediate needs, even the ones that feel maybe a bit selfish, straight to him. He welcomes that vulnerability, that specificity.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a profound shift for a lot of us who might have been taught, only pray for others or only for spiritual things.
So true. Okay, so he's established that immediate personal connection with God.
Yeah.
Then David kind of turns his gaze outwards, right? He starts confronting those around him who are chasing, a very different kind of satisfaction. That brings us to Psalm 4, verse 2. Men of rank, how long will you shame my honor, love what is vain, chase after lies? Selah. Now, before we dig deeper, that word slay, it pops up a few times in the Psalms. Our source implies it's more than just like a musical note. It's often seen as a pause, right? A moment to reflect.
Yeah, to let it sink in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let the weight of the words really land for the musicians and, for us listening too. And the force elaborates on David's words here, talking about people being in love with delusions and seek false gods. Things like money, pleasure, homes, cars, even family, it mentions.
And this is where it gets really interesting, I think, because it forces us to look inward a bit. This love of what is vain. It isn't just about, bowing down to a statue. The source points out it's often about things that seem good. Security, comfort, loving our family. Those are good things.
Right.
But when they become our ultimate pursuit, the main source of our joy and meaning, then they turn into these delusions or false gods. And this raises a pretty crucial question for us, one the source asks directly. Do you cry out to God for people you know who aren't following Jesus? Those folks seemingly caught in this relentless chase for material stuff, for worldly desires. It's a powerful call, really, to intercession for those maybe with one foot in both worlds, chasing what's ultimately, empty, vain.
That distinction, where good things become ultimate things.
Yeah.
That's really insightful. It does make you pause and think about who we're praying for beyond maybe just our immediate circle. And you can feel David's anguish here as he pleads with people to understand they're not just opposing him or another person, but God himself. Psalm 4, verse 3 says, understand that Adonai sets apart the godly person for himself. Adonai will hear when I call to him. And just a note, Adonai is that Hebrew term often translated Lord or Master. It signifies God's sovereignty, his authority.
And this verse Wow, it offers immense comfort, truly. It's such a foundational truth. God sets us apart. He watches over us. The source emphasizes that being set apart. It doesn't mean we're like isolated or removed from the world.
Right.
It's more about being distinguished by his divine choice, his care, being uniquely chosen and safeguarded by him. The source even points to the Book of Esther, which is such a great example of this truth in action.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It reminds us of God's sovereign protection over his people, even when things look totally dire and human efforts seem kind of useless. It's this powerful reassurance that when we, his set-apart people, call, he hears, unequivocally.
That sense of God's sovereign protection in verse 3 is, profoundly comforting. But it doesn't mean life is suddenly easy, does it?
Not at all.
In fact, David then gives this very practical, almost counterintuitive instruction for handling one of our biggest struggles, anger. That's in Psalm 4, verse 4. You can be angry, but do not sin. Think about this as you lie in bed and calm down.
This is such a vital instruction for just daily living. If you connect this to the bigger picture, anger is clearly identified as one of the most potent tools Satan uses to trip up God's people, to make them sin. And the source wisely reminds us of Paul's urging in Ephesians 4, right? Put off all the bitterness. Don't let the sun go down on your anger.
Right.
So it's not about denying the feeling of anger itself, because, let's face it, there's such thing as righteous anger against injustice.
Sure.
It's about how we manage it. That command, do not sin, implies we have agency, we have a choice in our response. And David's practical advice, think about this as you lie in bed, that speaks to intentional reflection, doesn't it?
Yeah, taking it offline almost.
Exactly. Taking that anger, that frustration, that hurt, and consciously surrendering those destructive emotions in prayer, processing them before God. And the incredible promise is when we do let go, when we genuinely listen to him, God will replace them with his love, his peace. It's like a spiritual alchemy.
That's a profound teaching.
Yeah.
Recognizing the anger, but actively stopping it from consuming us or leading us into sin.
Okay, so then David talks about offering sacrifices rightly. Psalm 4, verse 5. Offer sacrifices rightly and put your trust in Adonai. But what does a right sacrifice even look like for us today? I mean, that's not always clear in our modern world without altars and temple stuff.
Yeah, that's a great question. And this is where the New Testament really sheds light. The answer, as the source points out, is found beautifully in Romans 12, where Paul calls us to offer our bodies as living sacrifices. So it's not about physical animal sacrifices anymore. It's about a complete reorientation of our entire lives. It means living each and every day for Christ, recognizing that, as the source says, he bought us and he owns us.
Right.
So everything we do, the mundane stuff like the Tuesday morning commute or Friday night at home, right up to the big life decisions we make, should all be for the glory of God. That's echoed in 1 Corinthians 10.31. It's this complete daily active surrender of our will, our time, our talents, even our thoughts for his purpose. Wow.
It basically transforms daily life into this ongoing act of worship.
That's a powerful call to intentional living. It really changes how you look at the smallest actions, doesn't it? Okay, moving on. Many people, maybe universally, ask this question: who can show us some good? That's posed in Psalm 4.6. And the answer or plea is, Adonai, lift the light of your face over us.
This really highlights that universal human craving for what's genuinely good, for light in a world that often feels well shadowed. And the source clarifies unequivocally that God is good, inherently good, entirely good. And the only things that are truly eternally good are found in him.
Okay.
So when his light shines upon us, when God looks on us with favor, that's when we're genuinely blessed, truly content, regardless of our external situation. This isn't about, getting rich or famous. It's a deep inner well-being. And crucially, this also means we need to be ready, always prepared to tell others about Jesus when they ask the same question, because he is the ultimate answer to what's truly good and satisfying in life. It's a profound call, really, to share that light with a world that's searching.
That's a compelling point, that the answer to who can show us good is always ultimately connected back to him. So David continues his praise, now highlighting a different kind of abundance in Psalm 4, verse 7. You have filled my heart with more joy than all their grain and new wine. This really drives home the point that our joy isn't, or at least shouldn't be, based on material wealth.
It's such a striking contrast, isn't it? And the source notes the irony here. People strive relentlessly, often for more money, bigger houses, fancier cars. Yet so many times the people with the most stuff are actually the most unhappy,
So true.
the most anxious, the most unfulfilled. The things of this earth, they just can't satisfy that deep longing in the heart of a child of God. They're temporary. Their pursuit often leads to disappointment. But David is saying his heart is filled with a joy that completely surpasses any earthly harvest, any earthly pleasure. That daily walk with the Lord, that deepening relationship, that's a joy you just can't buy. It's deeper, more enduring, and it transcends whatever's going on outside.
That's such a powerful testament to the real source of contentment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, finally, David wraps up this psalm with this beautiful affirmation of security and peace. Verse 8, I will lie down and sleep in peace. For Adonai, you alone make me live securely.
So what does this all mean for us? It kind of brings David's journey full circle, right? From that initial cry of distress, his peace, his safety, it comes directly and exclusively from the Lord. And the immense comfort is that the same promise holds true for us as children of God. The joy of the Lord, this deep peace, it stems from knowing that God is all-powerful, he is supremely in control, and he's profoundly on our side because of Jesus Christ. And that knowledge, that reality, provides this unshakable security and peace. It allows us to rest, both physically and, spiritually, no matter what difficulties we might be facing.
As we reach the end of our deep dive into Psalm 4, our source material also points to just a couple of related ideas for those who might want to explore a bit further.
Indeed, yeah. It briefly mentions some links regarding how to be saved and also how EFM began. So it offers avenues for maybe continued reflection beyond the song itself into practical steps of faith or understanding the origins of some related ministries.
Right. And just for full transparency, the source also includes a note that Heartland Media LLC is a participant in the Amazon affiliate program and earns from qualifying purchases. So that's noted there. Wow. What a profound journey through just 8 verses of Psalm 4. We've seen how David, right in the middle of distress, found vindication, peace, this unshakable joy, not in worldly things, but by seeking God first and placing his complete trust in him as his ultimate source of security.
Yeah, the core takeaway seems crystal clear. True joy, true security, they come from our relationship with God. It's an internal reality. It totally transcends external circumstances or how much stuff we have. It's really about recognizing his sovereignty and placing our complete trust in him, just like David showed us through, every verse of this powerful psalm.
So here's maybe a provocative thought for you to carry with you from this deep dive. In your own moments of distress, or maybe when you're faced with all the relentless distractions and, frankly, the empty promises of the world, how can you truly apply David's radical example? How can you cry out to God first, for anything else, to find that same enduring joy, that unshakable peace that allowed him to say, I will lie down and sleep in peace?
It's definitely a challenging question, but maybe a transformative one for our daily lives. Thank you so much for joining us in this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep seeking those vital nuggets of insight.